if you've got truly $1.9 billion sitting there, what do you do with it? What if you can't send it back to Washington, what do you do with it?
You know what? I would love us to get rid of property tax.
Well,
We're actually discussing that up at the Capitol. Let's get rid of property tax. If they want to get rid of property tax and do an increase in sales tax to pick up the differences, why don't we get rid of property tax when people are being run out of their homes because of these inflated costs, as people move into the state? I'm telling you, it's a big issue. Some elderly woman owning her home that she might have paid $25,000 for 4 decades ago now is worth half a million, and they're paying $4,000 to $5,000 a year in property taxes, which there's no way in the world she can afford and be put out of her house. I'm just saying it's a huge issue, and a lot of people contact us about the inflated property taxes on their homes. Why don't we just get rid of it? Why can we not own one thing outright without it being tied to the government?
you didn't say get rid of 40% or 80%. You said get rid of, as I understand it, then 100% of property tax.
I think it'd be a great idea. It's actually being milled around the Capitol. Because all of these formulas, if you remember last year, there were multiple property tax reduction bills that came forward. And, depending on the flavor of the day and who was going to allow it to go through to the Senate and who was going to hold it in the Senate or actually give it a hearing, that was a huge issue, the property tax issue, and it wasn't addressed. So maybe we just need to be bold. Maybe we need to be bold and get those revenues off of sales tax instead.
When you mentioned the ideas going around the Capitol, does it have wide support? I mean, we do have some factions, and the Democrats probably wouldn't go along with this, but they're really not much of a factor. But among the factions in the Republican Party, do you see support for this across the factions?
Well, I think even with the Democrats, they're open to looking at ways to help folks. They know that it's a problem as well. So I'm sure it's going to come up for discussion. I'm sure this is going to be one of the options that's looked at. But, Bill, how I feel about our natural resources picking up some of that slack on our state revenues. This is something, the mining and logging and ranching, I am telling you, there is a way that we can use our resources to fill in these gaps should something that drastic actually be attempted.
Well, obviously, Mike Boyle likely has to sign off on this at some point, but then again, I've talked to him in the past about trying to crack this nut when it comes to property tax, and it's not been easy. So I guess if you get rid of it, you solve the problem altogether.
I think so. Well, we can all be hopeful. I mean, we could be hopeful, Bill. I just know a lot of people are paying. I can't believe when I hear from folks they're paying $5,000-$6,000. That used to be the mortgage, in total for a year, and that's what you're paying in taxes, and then you have the insurance on top of that. People are being priced right out of their homes, but it also hurts the rental community as well, as taxes go up on those properties without a homeowner's exemption. That's just going to be passed on to renters, where they're paying $1,500 a month, what you would have paid probably $800 a month for 10 years ago.
Yeah, I heard a prediction that the cost of rent in this country is expected to soar. This is, I guess, across the country, a nationwide average, but 32%. A lot of people are going to be living under bridges if that happens.
Well, they are. I mean, they are. It's sad we're not trying to help people protect their largest asset and to make sure they can sleep at night and not be worried about someone taking their home away from them. I just think it's an obvious thing that needs to happen, and there's ways around it. Right now, with this huge surplus, instead of spending it on another literacy program, because we put millions of dollars toward literacy, because that's always the governor's big issue, literacy in schools. Well, I don't know how well it's been working lately, but I know couple of $1 million every year has gone to literacy since I've been in the House.
Wanted to mention Dorothy Muniz joining us this morning, state representative from District 8 here in Idaho, and she's with us, I think, until we're going to see how her voice holds out. She's got to save some of it for shouting across the floor this afternoon.
That's right.
But we're listening to News Radio 96.1 FM, 1310 KLIX, and News Radio 1310.com. Well, you know what you do in that situation, by the way? If you need to say something and you're losing your voice, just hand a note card to Barb and she'll say it for you.
she
She'll-
she does have that megaphone voice, that's for
yes.
sure. She's great. She's right in front of me. I could do that thing still.
I got a note from a writer in Twin Falls who said, surplus, the writer says, fixed local roads. Of course, we already have some plans in place for that, right?
Yes, there are plans in place for the roads, and it's been they've been taking a beating this winter for sure. And our snow plows have been out working hard and keeping people safe. And we're not even into winter yet, so our roads are gonna with the frost heaves and the salt and everything else, we're gonna have a lot of repair coming up in the spring. So yes, that is definitely under consideration.
Now, when you mentioned if we eliminate the property tax and we just rely on sales tax, I haven't done it in years, but I used to have a guy who would join me periodically on air and talk about something called the fair tax. And that's all the fair tax, as I recall, was. It was just simply, it was a sales tax. But the idea was you eliminated all other taxes through a larger sales tax. Would this resemble something like that?
Well, I should probably have Representative Ron Nate, when you have a BYU economics professor in your Freedom Caucus with the rest of us. He definitely can address all of that. I should ask him if he could spend some time on your show if you'd want him on there, because he definitely
Sure.
can talk about the numbers. He as well also serves on JFAC and the financial committee, and he definitely could give some insight to a lot of what he thinks should happen as well.